That was very informative discussion. So, did you guys learn a lot? I hope that you learned a lot. And since we're done with the history of arts, let's dig deeper into arts. Let's continue our exploration in the world of art by showing a meaningful story about some of the famous painting. May I call on Miss Grace Niliama to begin the new chapter of our exploration.
Hi kids, I am Teacher Grace, and today we're going to learn the story behind the Starry Night painting by Vincent van Gogh. Vincent van Gogh created the Starry Night in 1889 while residing at the St. Paul Asylum in Saint-Rémy, France, where he spent a year after experiencing mental breakdowns amongst other things due to mutilating his ear. Van Gogh lived well in the hospital. He was allowed more freedoms than any of the other patients. If attended, he could leave the hospital grounds. He was allowed to paint, read, and withdraw into his own room. He was even given a studio. The artist sought to capture the scenery from his room's window perspective. The inspiration for the painting was later revealed in one of his correspondences to his brother Theo, where he wrote, "This morning I saw the countryside from my window a long time before sunrise, with nothing but the morning star, which looked very big." Though the painter liked to paint from sight, he was not permitted to work in his bedroom. So he started painting the star he had seen in his studio without the perspective for inspiration, adding paint shade from the oil paint tubes to the surface to achieve the picture's signature thick lines and bright hues. As an outcome, the dreamlike scene with wavy cypress trees in the background and shining stars, a vivid crescent-shaped yellow moon, a whirling air, rolling hills, and a village in the horizon was created. Some of the aspects, such as the surrounding mountains and the village, are accurate representations of what Van Gogh would have seen from his window. Meanwhile, other components, such as the church steeple, were a part of his imagination. This painting, which is widely regarded as his opus, was actually considered as a failure by Van Gogh, based on the letter he sent to his brother. Despite this, it became a permanent collection of the Museum of Modern Art in New York. No matter how beautiful this painting is, it has a hidden dark story. But anyway, it's impressive that he made a beautiful painting as a way to express what he wanted to say. And this is the story of the Starry Night painting by Vincent van Gogh.
Good day everyone, I'm your teacher, Teacher Kitty. Today, we're going to learn the story behind the Mona Lisa painting by Leonardo da Vinci.
Kids, imagine that you are walking through an art gallery. The walls are tall and beautiful. It is an elegant place and there are tourists everywhere, studying and looking at artwork. As you turn the corner into a different room, the crowd grows very thick. Everyone is crowding around trying to see one particular painting. As you get close, you see the painting they are all looking at. It is a portrait of a woman. She sits facing you and smiles with a slight smirk that is both suspicious and mysterious. This episode is about one of the famous paintings in the world, the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa is also sometimes known as La Gioconda, which means the happy one in Italian. The name of painting is also a play on words or jokes because the painting is a woman named Lisa del Giocondo. The Mona Lisa was painted during 16th century by an Italian oil painter named Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo lived in Florence, Italy during the Renaissance period in Europe. The painting was completed around 1508 and later brought to France by Leonardo in 1516. The King of France, Francis I, purchased the painting from Leonardo. King Francis I was very interested in art and particularly liked Leonardo da Vinci paintings. He purchased many of them during Leonardo's lifetime. In 1911, the Mona Lisa was stolen from the Louvre and hidden in an apartment of Vincenzo Peruggia, who wanted to return it to Italy. The painting was eventually returned to the Louvre and is now owned by the governments of France. So kids, the Mona Lisa is one of the famous paintings in the world, known for its enigmatic smile and captivating beauty. Painted by Leonardo da Vinci in the early of 16th century, the painting has captured the hearts of and imaginations of the people for centuries, and its story is as fascinating as the painting itself. Today, the Mona Lisa remains one of the most beloved and recognizable paintings in the world. Its beauty and mystery continue to captivate people from all walks of life, and its story is a testament of the power of art to inspire and enchant.
Hi everyone, my name is Cherilyn Ansala, and for tonight I'm going to tell you a story. This story is not just story, it is historical. This story is about the famous painting of Leonardo da Vinci titled The Last Supper. I hope all of you are all excited to hear my story, and please listen very carefully. Okay, first before we start our story, let us know who is Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci is an artist and an engineer. He is best known for his painting, and some of his famous paintings are Mona Lisa and The Last Supper, and of course many more. This painting depicts the story of Jesus of the Last Supper with his 12 disciples. In this story, Jesus tells that he has been betrayed by one of his disciples. As we try to look at the painting, we can see that Leonardo da Vinci wants us to see the different personalities of all disciples. During this time, they were eating, and according to my research, they were eating eels and herrings. But some said they were eating a lamb, bitter herb, unleavened bread, and aromatized wine. Some people believe that there's hidden messages behind of that food. The Last Supper symbolized the last meal shared of Jesus Christ with his 12 disciples, because we know after the meal Jesus Christ arrested and crucified, and that's the story of the Last Supper. Now I'm going to tell you the reason why this painting becomes so famous. So the reason why this painting became so famous, because this painting shows the relationship of all disciples to Jesus Christ, and for showing the last meal of Jesus Christ for his disciples. And also this painting has lots of hidden messages and foreshadowing of what will happen on this group. Another reason why Leonardo da Vinci, his painting became famous, because Leonardo da Vinci used a form of fresco that he invented, and it lasted for 500 years. Imagine that, 500 years, that's too long, okay? This painting had controversy since it lasted for 500 years, okay? They have a project, they call it a 20 project restoration. It lasted for 1978 to 1999, but according to experts during this time, the restoration is not reasonable, since the painting could not fully restored, meaning to say that they cannot put it back to its original form. Lastly, this masterpiece had an argument with many people. Some people said that Juan is actually Mary Magdalene, but according to Leonardo da Vinci, he didn't paint women, and also to the fact that Mary Magdalene is not part of Last Supper according to the Gospel. Leonardo da Vinci, known for painting men, seems feminine. So that's all the explanations about the woman that they saw on the Last Supper painting. We're done. Thank you so much for listening to this story. I hope you all understand and gain knowledge to this story. Thank you again.
The creation of Adam. The story goes that in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth and everything in them. After creating the plants, animal, and everything else, God decided to create a being in His own image. God formed Adam, the first man, from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and Adam became a living soul. God placed Adam in the Garden of Eden, the paradise filled with every kind of plants and animal. In this garden, Adam had everything he needed and was given dominion over of their creature. However, God noticed that Adam was alone, unlike the animal who each had mate. So God caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep, and while he was sleeping, God took one of Adam's rib and closed up its place with flesh. From this rib, God created Eve, the first woman, as a companion of Adam. Adam and Eve lived in the Garden of Eden, tending into God and enjoy a close relationship with God. They were allowed to eat from any tree in the garden except for the tree of knowledge of good and evil. This God warned would result in death. The story of creation of Adam marks the beginning of humanity according to the Bible and set the stage for the subsequent story of Adam and Eve, their fall from the grace, and the entire narrative of human history according to the Christian tradition. And this is the short story of the creation of Adam.